My name is Jamie Davison, and welcome back to another review video again. And today, we're going to be doing a review on one of my favourite shows called Chuggintion. Yup, that's what we are going to be reviewing today. Now, just before I begin with this, I have a few things to say. To any of you who don't like Chuggintion, I respect your opinion, but as long as you respect my opinion in return. Yes, I know I keep on saying this in every single review I do, but just shut up. So with that out of the way, let's get right into this. So, Chuggintion is a British children's CGI television series created by Sarah Ball, and the series ran from the 22nd of September 2008 till the 29th of May 2015. However, in 2020, the series came back with its 6th season, also known as Chuggintion Tales from the Rails. And there was gonna be a 7th season, but according to the Chuggintion wiki, it unfortunately was cancelled due to production, which is kind of upsetting. But enough about that! The series follows the adventures of 3 Chugger trainees named Wilson, Brewster, and Coco, who up until season 4 were no longer being trained or are now doing proper jobs in the responsible rescue teams. Which, speaking of season 4, kind of felt like Paw Patrol but with Chuggintion characters. So I'm not really the biggest fan of season 4, please don't blame me. The next thing I'm going to talk about are the characters. And you know what I really liked about the show? Is that despite Wilson, Brewster, and Coco being the main trio, that doesn't mean we can't get focused on other characters, like say Harrison, Hoot and Toot, Eddie and Hodge, Zeffy, and the most interesting character, Old Papa Pete. So yeah, I really like all the characters in Chuggintion. Well, most of them anyway. And oh yeah, here's something I never noticed, guys, but has anyone noticed that Wilson, Brewster, and Coco are the exact same colours as Thomas, James, and Percy from Thomas and Friends? Yeah, I'm quite surprised at this. I guess that's why most Thomas fans call this a rip-off. More on that later. But getting back on topic, I am now going to state the things that I like about the show and 1 or 2 things that I don't like about the show. One thing that I really love about Chuggintion is the voice acting. I really like the voice acting in Chuggintion. Well, most of them anyway. Some of the voices in the US, of like say Wilson and Zeffy and Coco in the early seasons, yeah, they are kind of annoying. But for me, I just prefer the UK dub because that's what I grew up with. And I think the best voices, in my opinion, are the trainees and even some of the adult chuggers. Why? Well, some of their voices actually remind you of Thomas characters. Like say, Gordon is Harrison, Old Puffer Pete is Toby, and so on. Another thing that I really like about Chuggintion is actually the animation. I mean, for early 2000s standards, the animation for Chuggintion is really good. Sure, it's not as good as the late Brenner seasons or the Nitrogen seasons, but for what it is, it's pretty good. But I will have to say that the animation in season 6 is absolutely amazing. It's more brighter and has more detail. So yeah, I really love the animation in Chuggintion. Well, for season 6 mainly. The last thing that I really like about Chuggintion is how expressive the characters are. What do I mean by this? Well, I actually like how the chuggers bounce and jump. Why? Well, unlike Thomas and Friends' Big Adventures, where Thomas and his friends just bounce and there's no explanation how they bounce, Chuggintion makes sense because for one thing, it's a completely original show that isn't meant to be as realistically as possible. And not to mention, they actually show how the chuggers bounce, as you can see right here. And besides, Chuggintion is set in the future, by the way. Well, one person thinks of this anyway. Please tell me he and I am not the only one. But still, I still do think Chuggintion is in the future because of the blue track and the buildings and etc, etc, etc. So yeah, I don't really have a problem with the trains bouncing because since it's set in the future, it makes sense for them to bounce, which I find pretty unique. But now we're getting into one thing that I don't like about the show. The only thing I do not like about the show, which I know this may surprise a lot of you, but it's actually how much Thomas fans call it a rip-off. What do I mean by this? Well, some Thomas fans think Chuggintion is a huge rip-off to Thomas and Friends. I mean, I'm not opinion bashing anyone, but Chuggintion is not a rip-off to Thomas and Friends. Sure, they share the exact same train talking concept as Thomas, and the trio are the same colours as the real trio from Thomas, but that's the only things, and that's it. Chuggintion is set in the future, Thomas is set in the past. What kind of a difference is that? Finally got that off my chest. But if you guys don't agree with me, that's completely fine. But aside from that one nitpick, I really like Chuggintion. And in my opinion, it's one of the best CBeebies shows out there. And I suggest you go see it. Well, if you're bored and have nothing to watch, then this will be the show for you. So overall, I'm giving Chuggintion a 9 out of 10. Definitely an underrated show. And possibly one of the best CBeebies shows out there, along with, say, Bodge. Okay, everyone, that brings us to the end of another review video. Now, I have a few things to say before I sign off. I will no longer be saying, sorry if this one has been a bit short, even though all my reviews are basically the same, like 8 minutes, etc., and 7 minutes. I'll only say that if the review is like, say, 5 minutes long or 4, because I will basically either be reviewing a fan-made series or whatever. So yeah, I hope you all really enjoyed this video. And huge shout out to Harry the Ray Bagner Legend and Wax World Rebooted for inspiring me to make this wonderful review. And if you guys are watching this, thank you for inspiring me. So, I hope you all enjoy this review, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.